KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now that Donald J. Trump has begun a second term as president, please join the Empowerment Congress and KBLA Talk 1580 to examine the question, where do we go from here? Chaos or democracy? At the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. This Saturday, January 25th, some of LA's top elected officials, Representative Sidney Kamlager-Dove, Assembly members Isaac Bryan and Sade El-Hawari will be on hand for what promises to be a lively and informative conversation. Doors open at 8 a.m. The general session, moderated by Tavis Smiley and broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580, begins at 9 a.m. The event is free, but seating is limited. Registration is required. Go to the Empowerment Congress website at www.empowermentcongress.org to register. Where do we go from here? Chaos or democracy? Join the Empowerment Congress and KBLA Talk 1580 this Saturday, January 25th. Doors open at 8 a.m. The free program starts at 9 a.m. Registration is required at www.empowermentcongress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First. And my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God. Asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders and getting it started. Man, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to do. And believe it or not, we've got a lot to celebrate. Yep. So this is the way we do the show on a Wealth Building Wednesday. Hour 1, we look local, what's going on around here, left coast things. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And we also feature our Wealth Building Wednesday, which is spotlight on Black-owned, woman-owned small business and also socially innovative or BIPOC businesses. Spreading the wealth, recycling black dollars. We do that every Wednesday, top of the second hour. The phone lines are open the whole time. Anytime you are welcome in. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Hour 3 today, we'll be talking with Chris Kazi, who is a master of branding. And look at power branding. What does it mean? Whether you're a community-based organization or an individual, his work with Queen Afua is just one example for those who are familiar. I think when I first interviewed the Queen, well, not first, but maybe second or third time I interviewed her on the front page, she had perhaps a couple thousand followers now. 5 years later, she's at almost 500,000. And her brand is seen throughout the world. So it's a success story that many of us would love to replicate, and he'll share his secrets. So all that is going on, and we are expecting a special guest this morning who can give us some rather searing insights into what is going on with hip-hop. Hip-hop in Trump 2.0. What is really going on? Is it a change? I mean, we've always had people that were all about the money. We've always had those people. I feel like we've gone through ebbs and flows in hip hop where sometimes it's very conscious, and sometimes it's very party all the time, and sometimes, we've seen each wave of different popular trends within the umbrella of rap music and hip hop culture. And what I've noticed is, although one may be dominant at one point, the other one never completely disappears. So is it different now? Have we moved to an age of complete and total nihilism and individualism? I don't know, Miles. What do you think? I know you're a young guy. You're an artist. And my friend Paris, the Black Panther of hip hop, always says the problem is we get fewer and fewer choices. Not that it's just one dominant, not that trap is in, or, this is in or that is in, but it's that we, as the record labels become more dominant and the radio stations become more dominant, we get just nihilism.
So as you're saying that, I'm actually looking up what the definition of my nihilism is. The belief that all values are baseless and nothing can be known or communicated. I do think we suffer from that, especially financially.
Yeah.
Especially financially, nihilism. I think that we think that the game's rigged. All these games are rigged against us, and that makes us take a lot more chances, maybe.
But does it make people abandon their people? Does it make people feel they have no loyalty to the Black community? Yeah. That's what I mean. It's weird because I think you and I were talking about La Russell when he came in with Tavis, and I was so jealous that I didn't get to meet him. But I feel like there's a trend there, and even with your music of just getting back to kind of like being who you are and telling a story, an authentic story. But I don't know, because we continue to see, a lot of, opportunism.
Yeah, I mean, while you're right, I think it may be a shame. I'm not surprised by it. I mean, we around here remind each other all the time we're not, what's the word, monolith? We're not monolithic. We have so many different types of people and archetypes of people and values right now, and so many things to attach to identify ourselves with, and we accept everything as this diaspora that we call it. And that leads to, I think, what's important to me and you probably won't be important to everybody else.
Right, but there are some things that seem real basic to me. I mean,
what's one thing we can agree on, everybody?
Well, maybe not everybody, but I'll say about 85% would agree that going and performing at Donald Trump's inauguration is not a good idea. When I say 85%, I'm talking about Black people right now.
Okay. So politically, we can agree on some type of things then.
Right. Well, I think so. But maybe,
That's not a philosophy. That's not a standard.
It is a philosophy. It's a philosophy of standing with your people. I mean, I think it's a standard. It's a standard of not selling out. That's what it's a standard of. Okay, here comes the lady that started this whole argument, and she's just going to be rolling up in here looking super fashionable. Yeah. So you're saying, Miles, that you don't think it's a standard?
We have a standard as a people?
I'm talking about the hip hop community. I'm talking about artists right now.
No, I don't think there's no standard. No. It's definitely not a standard. I think we're looking at it with so many different people that have jumped on early, and we accept them back into it. So there's no repercussions to these actions. There's no, there's no accountability to it. It's kind of just, hey, you're going to deal with the emotional backlash for a couple of days, a week maybe, and then the news cycle's going to change, and then something else will be in the news, and we'll forget all about it and accept everybody back in. So I think the fact that we don't have any repercussions to the actions as a quote-unquote culture, then no, of course not. It's not going to be any thing we can settle down and agree on. No.
Joining us right now, a strategist, award-winning Gen X journalist. It doesn't say this in her bio, but I'm going to add it. Consumer of hip-hop. She's an on-air contributor, and she's known for her, journalistic integrity, cultural sensitivity, and her searing takes on many a thing. Jasmyne Cannick, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique and Miles and KBLA family.
So you wrote a couple of pieces recently. One of them went completely viral. Snoop Dogg at the crypto ball, the high cost of selling black culture is one of those pieces. Whoops. We're going to break. Just playing. And the other one is really more focused on hip hop in general, and where it's going.
When hip hop sold its soul for a stack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the title of that piece. And me and Miles were just getting it started. Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's any different than it's ever been. Because to me, there's always been sellouts. There's always been people who've switched sides. But
going back to the ones that helped them catch us and bring us here.
Right, going all the way back.
Going all the way back.
When they were going, let me hear you say, hey, I'm getting paid. I got myself a gun to throw your butt in the bottom of the slave ship. Yeah, you could take it that far back.
Yeah, no, there definitely has been. I think that, look, I understand because I am part of the backlash against, Snoop. I mean, Nelly is irrelevant to me. Soulja Boy, I don't even know why anybody would even want to see him perform. I didn't even know he was still relevant. Rick Ross, But Snoop has, is a legend in terms of hip hop. And what I saw is a man who turned his back on the people who put him in the tax bracket he is in. He would not be where he's at right now had it not been for us. And now he is tap dancing for the same folks trying to keep us down. And so for a lot of us, especially in the hip hop generation, we feel very, very betrayed. But I also thought it was like just a good time to also just have a more general conversation about the demise of hip hop and where it started and where it's at right now, and how all of that plays into sort of this individualistic sort of, I got to get mine, forget the community, attitude that folks have, particularly in hip hop. I mean, Soulja Boy put out that video that was, I know you saw it, that was just so, woo! I don't know what to say about that, but he embodies a lot of folks currently in hip hop, a lot of folks in our community who think like that, like, I'm going to whoever's paying me.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that just made things so much worse. Like, he would have been better off just being quiet. In the video, maybe we can pull some of it. I don't know.
I don't think there's anything you can play on air from that video.
Oh,
Every
yeah,
other word is the N word. He calls the vice president, she's still my vice president, the B word. Like, I don't think there's anything off that's on air for that. But it's just really sad, and it made me just so sad because I'm just like, these fools are sitting up here like moments after Trump was sworn in, and I'm sure, I know you've talked about this. He signed all of those executive orders. And I'm like, so do you understand, Snoop, that you are tap dancing for a man who just signed executive orders that actually hurt the very people that put you in the tax bracket you're in? 1 in 5 black folks is the child of an immigrant. He sat up there and pardoned the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, who are known white supremacists and white nationalists who do not like black people. And then I had to remind myself, yes, this is the same man. Let us not forget, Los Angeles, that Snoop Dogg endorsed Rick Caruso against Karen Bass, that Snoop Dogg's been running around town with Martha Stewart. He sits at a different table now. Clearly, he doesn't see himself as black or as caring about the black community anymore. And so I'm happy that he's getting the backlash. I hear Miles with this, we're going to forget. I mean, because that's just the way society is now. Our news cycle is this sort of weird sort of thing where for 24 to 48 hours, we're on this one thing and then we move to the next. But I've loved seeing that people have stopped following him or saying they're not going to stream his music. They're not going to show up to his shows. He needs to know this was not it. Like, this was not cool. And he could ignore it on his socials and act like none of this is happening if he wants to. But he just took a L. He took a real L. It may not affect him in his bank account, but it definitely is going to affect him in these streets.
Yeah, to me, it affects the legacy. We'll talk about that more when we come forward. And you know, Miles, you're always welcome to jump in if you hear something that's catching that needs a reply. Yeah, because you are the only rap artist in the conversation at this moment. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Now that Donald J. Trump has begun a second term as president, please join the Empowerment Congress and KBLA Talk 1580 to examine the question, where do we go from here? Chaos or democracy? At the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. This Saturday, January 25th, some of LA's top elected officials, Representative Sidney Kamlager-Dove, Assembly members Isaac Bryan and Sade El-Hawari will be on hand for what promises to be a lively and informative conversation. Doors open at 8 a.m. The general session, moderated by Tavis Smiley and broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580, begins at 9 a.m. The event is free, but seating is limited. Registration is required. Go to the Empowerment Congress website at www.empowermentcongress.org to register. Where do we go from here? Chaos or democracy? Join the Empowerment Congress and KBLA Talk 1580 this Saturday, January 25th. Doors open at 8 a.m. The free program starts at 9 a.m. Registration is required at www.empowermentcongress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Are you a recent college graduate with a dream of getting a high-paying job in sales? A job where you can grow a lucrative career in multi-platform audio, digital, podcast, social media, and local events, along with world-class training and career growth opportunities. KBLA Talk 1580, located in historic Leimert Park, is currently hiring entry-level account executives for outside sales. Join a team featuring radio hosts Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornell West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, Dr. Nee Cordelai Corte, Zoe Williams, and our very own Dominique DiPrima. For more information on attending our upcoming career fair, contact SMB at KBLA1580.com today. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Once upon a time, long ago, in a land not that far away, hip-hop was the voice of the streets. It was a movement, a message, and a megaphone for black empowerment and communal struggle. Born from block parties and sound systems in the Bronx, it was raw, unfiltered, and unapologetically black. It wasn't just music, it was a blueprint for survival. That's me reading. When the very opening of When Hip Hop Sold Its Soul for a Stack by Jasmyne Cannick, the author who is sitting in the studio with me right now. What moved you to write these pieces, you personally?
I love hip hop. I have a love-hate relationship with hip hop because I love hip hop, but I think about like the KRS-Ones, the X-Clans, the EPMDs. I think about my West Coast people, right? I love hip hop, and I have watched through the decades the corrosion, the just how it moved from being, ciphers about life and about the struggle to being about drugs, sex, and money.
But you love gangster rap.
Okay, that's why I said I have a love-hate relationship. I rolled up here listening to Too Short, getting it, okay? So let's be clear. So I ain't, but...
And you don't just love old gangster rap, you love...
No, I don't listen to about the only new artist that I would consider new that I am a fan of really is just Kendrick and YG. And I think with both of those specifically, it's not just their ties to
and
Compton.
G Perico.
Well, I like G Perico too, but it's also because like they even with G Perico, they rap like. I told G Perico he reminds me of Sugar Free in terms of his style of rap. YG and I remember we had a conversation at an event in Compton, and we were both talking about how we can't stand mumble rap, and so he doesn't, that rap you can barely like. I can't stand that, and YG and Kendrick don't do that kind of rap. They remind me of rappers from like the 90s and the early 2000s. But regardless of all of that, I've also just watched hip hop move from being about the people to being about luxury, to being about cars, houses, drugs, sex, and all this stuff. And it's sad to me. And so I'm not surprised when you have all of these wealthy rappers now who have turned their back on the people who put them in those tax brackets, like I said. And Snoop is not the only one. Let's be clear. Snoop is definitely not the only one, but he's the one in the news right now because of what he did. And it just hurts so bad. And I just wanted to remind people, and I really don't care. I know there's a lot of younger people who are like, there go the aunties and they're old and this and that. It's not about that. It's about having some respect for yourself in the music and respect for your community and respect for just Black people.
I mean, it's interesting you say that because I feel like you could say we had the X-Clans and all, but before that we had like Curtis Blow, and it was all about the party. It wasn't, I mean, most of that, there was early phases of hip hop that were just about the party. I mean, that was community love, but it wasn't exactly, it wasn't exactly Chuck D.
Yeah. The other thing that really bothers me, Dominique, and I know how controversial this is, but it really bothers me, is just the cultural handoff of hip hop to white folks.
Well, I think that's...
And that, when I saw Snoop performing for the MAGA and Crypto Bros, and he's using the N-word and their hands are all up and everybody's bouncing and vibing along and singing along.
I mean, the ones that knew
that
at that crypto ball, there was a lot of people just sitting there blank face. But I get your point.
Yeah.
You're like giving them license to use the N-word when these are actual white supremacists.
Exactly. And you're okaying it. And we have a president now who I could very well see, saying, "What's up, Ma?" to somebody and say, "Well, what's the problem? He says it. I can say it."
And we also know that, there's documentation that Trump has used that word with a hard R, not the "what's up" version.
Yeah. And I don't. For me, I'm not confused. Like AAH. ER.
Yeah, I know.
It's all the same to me.
We agree to disagree because I feel like words have context. You know what I mean? If I call a female dog a bee, that's actually, a scientific term. If you call me that or I call you that, even though I really don't typically do that with my girlfriends, but some people do, it's completely different than if some white dude calls me that. Words have different meanings in different contexts. That's called language. That's called the subtleties of language.
Not that word for me.
I know.
That word for me.
We've had this conversation over the years,
and I have it with my friends all the time because I have.
You're
friends
an N-word
that use it all.
abolitionist.
Yes, I am. I do not. I didn't grow up with the word. My grandparents, my parents, nobody used that word around me. It wasn't.
But you grew up listening to hip hop.
You know what? You want to know what the first rap song was I ever learned?
What's the N in NWA?
Right. The first, my first rap song I ever got into, I will never forget, was Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. Parents Just Don't Understand. Do you remember that
hilarious.
song?
Of course I do.
Yes. So yes, I love. That's why I said I have a love-hate relationship, and being hip hop connoisseurs, being from the hip hop generation, we do get to critique this. We do get to talk about it and weigh in on it because we're the ones that made hip hop. And so I own, my role in it, and I'm constantly questioning myself all the time. Like, don't play that Sugar Free girl. Don't listen to that DJ Quick. Don't do it.
See, I'm fine with it, and maybe that's hypocritical. But I don't think it is because I understand context, and that's one of the reasons why I agree with you about this handoff. Me and one of my friends, we had a theory about a pod somewhere in Florida where they're creating these sort of racially amorphous,
Yeah.
pseudo Latino white boy rappers,
Well,
like cloning them. And no, that's not racism. I mean, there is something called appropriation, and you're welcome. Everybody's welcome to rap. Don't get me wrong. I think there is a double standard. I think people, for example, unpopular opinion, give Eminem a lot of extra credit, for being white. Can he rap? Yeah, he can rap. Is he the GOAT? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I do like Eminem, but him being white has nothing to do with it. I just like the stuff that he talks about and the way that he does it.
I get that, but would he have been on the cover of Newsweek and all the stuff if he was just another?
Well, look at Vanilla Ice and how he came onto the scene,
Ooh,
right?
He couldn't rap at all.
But he was white.
Yeah, well.
And he could dance, sort of. So people, latched on to that. I think at the end of the day, for me, what I see is how, we've been sold a bill of goods that somehow if we change this word and use it amongst ourselves, it means something different. We use that word to get rich and then make other people richer, because behind every artist is a record label. And at the top of that record label, the person is usually not black.
Hardly ever.
And what also disgusts me about all of that is that you couldn't use a slur of any kind towards a gay person, towards a Latino person, towards a Jewish person in a song and expect it to get a Grammy nomination, sell out tours all around the country and make $1 gazillion. But it is okay for us to use a slur to not only amongst ourselves to make other people rich, but to the delight of white folks who are like, look at these fools sitting up here calling each other the N-word. It is the whole cycle to me is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point there. It is the record labels that are profiting off of us.
They wouldn't let their own people be degraded in any kind of music like that whatsoever. It would be shut down.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue that, because I've seen it time and time and time again, which is why, kind of a sidebar, why I was so shocked that the ADL didn't call out Elon for that Nazi salute. Call it what you will. You can tell me duck is a cow, but it's a Nazi salute to me.
A lot of people are going to be disappointed in us. As I said on socials, the Disappointment Express has left the station. We cannot put all of our energy into this particular episode. This is the opening ceremony, folks. We got 4 years of the Shuck and Jive Olympics, okay?
Shuck and Jive Olympics. News, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. President Trump is open to TikTok being sold to Elon Musk or Larry Ellison, a chairman at the tech company Oracle. Trump has signed an executive order pushing off the ban for 75 days, but ByteDance must sell its share of the app to operate legally in the U.S. President Trump is revoking John Bolton's Secret Service protection, questioning the need for lifelong security. Bolton received protection in 2021 due to an Iranian threat. Bolton was Trump's national security advisor, but was fired in 2019. The State Department is updating its website to reflect Donald Trump's executive order recognizing only male and female sexes. The Selecting Your Gender Marker page for passport applications has been removed. And crews in Southern California are making progress on wildfires near San Diego, with the Lilac Fire 10% contained and the Palo Fire 0% contained, prompting evacuations. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers posted their largest victory margin of the season last night. They beat the Washington Wizards by 23, 111-88. LeBron became the second player in NBA history with a triple-double at age 40. The first was Karl Malone in 2003. LeBron had 21 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds. The Lakers play Boston Thursday night at Crypto.com. The final Associated Press Top 25 college football poll, which came out Tuesday, should give USC and UCLA a lot to think about after moving to the Big Ten Conference last year. 3 of the top 5 teams are in the Big Ten. National champion Ohio State, number 3 Oregon, and number 5 Penn State. Indiana, which also made the 12-team playoffs, finishes the season at number 10. It could be a while before USC and UCLA become contenders in football in the Big Ten. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in tough times, connecting you with resources and what you need to know. Evacuation shelters are located in the Pasadena Civic Center, the Dream Center in LA, the Westwood Recreation Center, and many more. You can call 311 for details. Santa Anita Park in Arcadia is a pop-up mutual aid hub where you can pick up anything from clothing to food and hygiene supplies. If you're in Los Angeles County and in need of food, call Omni Ministries at 310-631-1557. Donations can be made to Zelle, Omni Ministries, Inc. at yahoo.com. Parking Lot I outside of Rose Bowl Stadium is a pop-up mutual aid hub where you can pick up everything from clothing to food to hygiene supplies for free. To volunteer or donate to help victims of the fire, contact the LA Emergency Network at enla.org. The Cochran Firm and Ivy McNeil, Wyatt Purcell and Diggs, Jasmine Cannick, and others have launched a GoFundMe specifically targeting Altadena. Visit LA Fires, the impacted Black community urgently needs help on GoFundMe, and donate to help Black evacuees fighting for survival. Airbnb is offering free temporary housing to people displaced by the fires. Call 211 to sign up. The LA Chamber of Commerce is stepping up to help you sort out insurance claims and other paperwork. Reach them at 213-580-7500. South LA Cafe has free groceries, clothing, and water available at 1700 Browning Boulevard in LA. Track their giveaways or volunteer through their Instagram at South LA Cafe. U-Haul is donating short-term storage free of charge for 30 days to evacuees. Shelter for small or large animals can be accessed by calling 211. A Black-led coalition of community organizations is offering support and resources in the Altadena area at the Flint Ridge Center at 236 West Mountain Street in Pasadena. For comprehensive lists of resources for housing, food, shelter, and more, visit Mutual Aid LA Network on Instagram. Praying for LA and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Talking with Jasmyne Cannick, you know, she's got a lot of bylines on a lot of different publications. She's on a lot of people's radio shows, not just mine, but often mine when I can get her in here.
Of course. You know I love being here with you.
Yes, and you can find these articles on iamjasmine.com or on your socials, which are...
Follow me on Instagram. I'm at Hello Jasmine, Jasmyne. Replace that I with a Y. I'm at Jasmine on X, Hello Jasmine on Threads, and Jasmine on Facebook.
You're everywhere. You're not on Blue Sky yet?
I am, but let me tell you something. It's just entirely too many platforms out there. And for 2025, I had to narrow it down to what I felt like I wanted to deal with and could handle.
Got it.
So I'm on Blue Sky. I can't tell people that I post regularly on Blue Sky.
Right. I'm trying to do better. But, okay, so Now, look, you're invited into the conversation as always. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Remember Chrisette Michelle?
Of course, I love me. So I need to pull out my photo with me and Chrisette and post it and be like, "Hey, girl, what you got to say?"
But she got punished for performing at the first Trump inauguration. So I think Miles's point that there are no consequences is often true, but not always true.
Unless you're a black woman. Unless
you sound like your friend
black
Attorney Jomfy.
Woman. And then there could possibly be consequences. I mean, that's something else that we need to talk about, as well. Like, why should they get a pass? There's no reason at all. I mean, let me go back to Snoop, because I know you saw that video he posted from 2017,
right,
where he talked about the jigaboos and who gonna be the first to perform for Trump. Apparently you.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, when I look at Nelly, and he also had a dumb video trying to justify, like, I didn't know I had to agree with your politics. Oh, you didn't know you had to stand with black people? Okay.
The people who made you. Okay.
But my point was Nelly and Soulja Boy are probably broke. No one bought that dumb video console that Soulja Boy made. And when was the last time Nelly had a hit? I think it's sad that Ashanti's getting canceled by people just because she's, his baby mama.
She should have took her lead from Michelle Obama. You didn't see her at the.
I won't be. But but was she? Yeah, it's not her fault that Nelly's going to do what Nelly's going to do. But I don't think that's fair. But anyway, I feel like black men do also get consequences, but they are going to tend to get them more from white folks. Like if you were Chris Brown or Isaiah Washington or Nate Parker, you're never, ever going to be, like, you could become the new pope and they would still be canceling you. But the audience is showing up for those folks, right? The black audience. Whereas if you're a Chrisette Michelle, white people didn't know who you were even yet in the first place, and black folks have abandoned you.
Yeah, I mean, I would be so interested in hearing what Chrisette Michelle has to say about all of this. I don't think she said anything yet. But look, I'm not a huge fan of double standards. Like, I think it's even worse today because we already went through 4 years of him, in addition to 4 years of him not being in office and still having to hear his mouth. And so for these brothers to get up here and align themselves with someone who is so committed to keeping us down, to hurting our communities, it just hurts in my heart. And it's like, I cannot in good conscience, be out here, repping for Snoop. Like,
okay, here's the thing. I understood the Caruso, endorsement by Snoop. I did not like it. I didn't agree with it, but I understood it because Caruso funds that football league that Snoop has, which is a gift to the community. So I felt like
does that keep the community housed, keep us safe, keep us. I'm sorry, I'm not hating on the football team, but I mean we gotta have some priorities.
I'm just saying, I understood that.
Here.
I don't get this, Jasmine. He's rich. He's on the Olympics, T-Mobile. Snoop. Gosh, he is in
He's
everything.
Sitting at a different table. He has left us and has moved on to hanging out with the likes of people like Donald Trump and his ilk, the Martha Stewarts, the Rick Carusos. He's not a part of us anymore. So that's the bottom line.
Class over race.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Now. It wasn't that way when he was trying to come up.
DeAndre Ferguson in the chat says, "Sister, if you got the call from Trump, you would go." And that's a no for me. I would not.
Absolute no.
Sorry, you must not know about me.
That's an absolute no. Let me tell. I'm gonna
you
tell.
You must not know about me.
Short story. There was a mayor that I worked for, and I feel like she's spoken about this publicly already. But when Trump got elected, he wanted to come to her city. And basically do photo ops and do a throw the paper towel kind of thing. And she was like, no, you're not going to use my city to, show that you allegedly down with black people and you're not really helping us. And she declined the visit from Donald Trump. This was during his his first term in office. Everybody doesn't care about the
and
fact
a
that
lot of
he's
people
president.
turned down those checks during the campaign.
Yeah.
And during his first term, a lot of people turned down those checks.
I've lost money. I've been asked to work on campaigns by Republicans and said no.
Teddy Huff says, ask the kids he saved. I do believe that the Snoop Dogg Football League has touched a lot of kids. I don't know if it's saved them, but let's hope so. It doesn't mean you've never done anything good. But to me, you don't get a pass.
You do not get a pass, and I am sorry. I am not against Snoop's football, none of that. So folks who are sitting there who can't comprehend that, hear me clearly. I am not against that. But I weigh the entire, I have to look at the entire community, okay? Not just a small group of people who are being affected by the good works of Snoop, but I'm concerned about the majority of us. And that football team isn't helping the majority of us. So his endorsement of Rick Caruso wasn't for the majority of us. And it's very transactional. It's very much like this argument people are putting out there. Well, who was the guy he got out of prison for Snoop, or Snoop's friend that I can't remember his name. I don't know if you remember Miles. Yeah. And I'm like, that's a very transactional, individualistic thing. So you got my person out, or you help my football team, and I don't look at life through that
That's
lens.
almost like a hostage negotiation.
Yeah, I'm looking at what's better for the bigger community. And sometimes even I've taken L's because I knew, like, in the bigger scheme of things, for me personally, I didn't think it was going to be good for the community. It might have enriched me personally
I've
at
done
the
it
moment.
many times.
It might have enriched me
many
personally.
times.
But I mean, I sleep good. I may sleep alone, but I sleep good at night because my conscience is clear.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you say if Trump called, you'd take the check. When I say you must not know about me, some of us actually are driven by a different purpose. Right. It's not that I think I'm better than you. I'm a child of the movement, and my values are rooted in that.
Right.
So to me, there is a different standard. But I don't, where we part company is, I don't think it's wrong for me to listen and sing along with a lot of rap songs.
I sing along too. I just struggle with it internally, and that's my only thing. And I own that. Like I own the fact that I do listen to gangster rap. But again, it's not about me and my gangster rap. It's about a man who went from no money to being a gazillionaire and who has now turned his back on the people who made him a gazillionaire. Him along with a bunch of other folks. And that is what bothers me about hip hop today, is that once these artists reach a certain level of wealth, they completely they move. Now, first they move out the community, then they turn their back on the community. Because, somebody was saying to me yesterday, well, if all black people were to boycott Snoop, it's not going to matter. And I said, you're probably right, just because his audience is a lot of white folks.
Well, just like a lot of audience. A lot of audience is white. For hip hop now. That's who buys a lot of it.
To the white folks, right?
But I still say friends don't let their white friends say the N-word. Friends don't let their Latino or Asian friends. No.
I barely let my black friends get away with it.
Well, yeah, I know that because I'm one of your black friends. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. A lot of people weighing in the chat. In fact, it's going so fast I can't even keep up with it, Jasmyne Cannick. But the one thing I was going to say is that when I talked about Nelly and Soulja Boy, to me, they probably are broke. I know that's not a justification. I've been jobless, too, and been offered sellout opportunities. But
because all money ain't good money. Because we live by that. Like, some people say it, and then as soon as that money is offered, they take it. But we know that all money is not good money.
Karma is real.
It sure is.
It's not too late to call. 800-920-1580, KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though.
Now that Donald J. Trump has begun a second term as president, please join the Empowerment Congress and KBLA Talk 1580 to examine the question, where do we go from here? Chaos or democracy? At the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. This Saturday, January 25th, some of LA's top elected officials, Representative Sidney Kamlager-Dove, Assembly members Isaac Bryan and Sade El-Hawari will be on hand for what promises to be a lively and informative conversation. Doors open at 8 a.m. The general session, moderated by Tavis Smiley and broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580, begins at 9 a.m. The event is free, but seating is limited. Registration is required. Go to the Empowerment Congress website at www.empowermentcongress.org to register. Where do we go from here? Chaos or democracy? Join the Empowerment Congress and KBLA Talk 1580 this Saturday, January 25th. Doors open at 8 a.m. The free program starts at 9 a.m. Registration is required at www.empowermentcongress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Patayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you gonna eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
Jasmyne Cannick, you can find the articles on her website or on her socials. IamJasmine.com is the website. You can subscribe while you're there. While you're at it, visit mine, DominiqueDiPrima.com. But look, in KBLA 1580, of course. CW Real Estate says we expect people to be perfect. And that's an unrealistic expectation.
No, we don't. We just expect people to not sell us out. That's what we expect. We expect the people whose careers we made and the people who we lifted up to not forget where they come from and to not sell us out. Look, I get it. People love this football league. The kids. But what kind of life? This man is supporting a president who's going to make those same kids' lives very, very hard as young men and as young adults. So it may be great, the football and everything, but what happens after that? What happens when they're trying to get a job and there's, no opportunities? What happens when, we have a president that reinstates or puts into place the kind of policies and supports the folks that put in the kind of policies that continue to put Black people in prison, that continue to kill Black people.
Right. For one Harry O that gets out, this
is a moment in time. This is a moment in time for the folks who are, who can't wrap their head around this issue because of the whole football thing. What happens after football? He's supporting a man who just pardoned white supremacists and white nationalists.
1,500 of them.
I mean, come on now. Did you see him pardoning any Black political prisoners?
No, closest. No, actually, not at all. I mean, unless you count Kodak Black. I mean, but here's
I'm talking about on January 20th.
Yeah, I'm just I'm being an idiot. But the point is that it's also the time. We're in a critical time, and this is not just for 4 years. These policies and changes that this administration is doing are going to be harming children for generations.
Absolutely, they sure are. And again, got to pace myself because, as I said earlier, the Disappointment Express is on a long 4-year journey. And I think I said before the break that, the Shuck and Jive Olympics just had their opening ceremony. And folks, we literally have to pace ourselves because there are going to be a lot of Black folks that disappoint us. Not just Black folks, but so-called allies that disappoint us, kiss the ring, bow down, kowtow, sidestep, backpedal throughout the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out how you show up, how you deal with all of that. Like maybe for you, it's unfollowing Snoop. It's not listening to his music. It's not going to his shows.
So no more gin and juice for you.
It could be.
You have to see how you feel.
No, I mean, but I unfollowed him. I didn't have to worry about unfollowing them other three because I wasn't following them to begin with. It's sad that our worth in this world is now defined by how many people follow you on social media, and that's what people actually care about. So since I said, well, since they actually, his team, his PR folks, his record all those people care about that, let me add my name to the list of people who unfollowed him. And so I did.
Well, here's the thing. Selena in the chat says that she's quoting Nina Turner. I didn't hear it. She's on our station now with Cornell West at noon every day. But she says, what difference will canceling Snoop make in the Trump era? And it's not about canceling to me. It's about accountability. I don't even believe in canceling. People vote with their ears, their eyes, their streams, and their buys. That's what we do. I personally don't choose to listen to R. Kelly anymore. It makes me feel like I want to throw up. You can listen. If you want to listen, that's on you. I'm not saying ban or censor. I'm saying I have a choice to make. I find that disappointing, Snoop. And I'm not going to pretend that I don't for any reason.
Right, and that's what it comes down to. I think we all have to figure out for ourselves how we're going to hold folks accountable. It is very hard to get all of us as Black people to do anything, whether it's a boycott, no matter whatever it is. But I think us and the folks in our circle, when we have these conversations, we can figure out what works for us. And like I said, for me, I unfollowed him. If something else comes up that look, I wrote 2 op-eds and talked about my disgust with him, okay?
And one of them has gone completely viral. You've got like 500,000 views on that bad boy. So, it's apparently struck a nerve. Apparently you're not the only one feeling that way. Otherwise that op-ed wouldn't have gone crazy like that.
I think, again, because I think we made him, and people feel a certain kind of way when you see your homegrown talent, the folks that you help take out of the hood and live the great life that they're living, just literally turn their back, and not just turn their back, but in the worst way, and go to a man who has disdain and hatred for Black people.
He looked hella corny too. Up there DJing for himself. People are saying, Uncle. I think there's a special relationship we have with Snoop Dogg too, because he's sort of, kids like him, and he's larger than life. He's like an iconic character, almost like a
it's weird to me.
Superhero character.
It's weird to me. Look, it's just weird to me. This man had a career that was built off of talking about gangs, killing police, and selling drugs and weed, and somehow has morphed into America's sweetheart. And I have always been baffled by that. I have completely been baffled by that. I don't think it's dope. I think it's dangerous and crazy.
Really?
But
so you were mad at him before?
I'm not saying I was mad. I'm just saying I was baffled at how somebody who had that legacy could then become America's sweetheart.
Yeah.
That is what I'm saying. Like, that scares me.
Yeah. Randy from Watts, it's almost the top of the hour, so I need the short version, if you would.
Well, the reality is the amount of money that they make from the R&B and rap. We look at our community. I just brought it to Val's attention. You got 2 99-cent stores, huge department stores empty. Big Lots moved off over there on 80th and Crenshaw. The music industry of that magnitude has got a lot of money that we could create a lot of jobs in our community, and I've seen nothing done.
Got it.
You know,
Thanks, Randy. I asked you for the short version. Do you want to land? Can I give you a couple seconds to land here? We're near the top of the hour.
We need to bring that to our community's attention. I mean, you know, a lot. You guys know I'm in transportation,
yeah,
and a lot of regulations he's throwing away is waking me up to get back in the game.
Okay,
So
thanks, Randy. Yeah, you can call with your pro-Trump anti-regulatory convo on another day. We're talking about hip hop, Snoop, but not just Snoop, the whole industry. And I do agree that seems to be in a money first paradigm right now, even more than ever. We only got a couple minutes here, minute and a half, Jasmine. I'm going to hand the mic to you.
Oh, well, you know what? Look, folks, pace yourselves. Understand that we just, we're going to be having these conversations throughout the next 4 years. I think folks are going to do things that are going to be worse than this, that we are going to have to come and gather together and talk about and have conversations and figure out how we're going to deal with it. I mean, it's unfortunate that society, particularly hip hop, a lot of these artists put money over everything. Oh, excuse me, put money over everything. And, you yourself, you just have to figure out what your morals and your values are. And you need to stand on business and stand by them, because clearly these folks don't. Clearly.
Yeah, and I think we got to move past fear. A lot of people are feeling fearful. And I think tempering, you see it in the media, tempering their critique, whether it's of a rapper or a president.
Snoop don't pay my bills.
Yeah.
Rap doesn't pay my bills. And I'm not, the older I get, the one of the things that I love is that the more freer my mouth is. Like, I just don't care. Like, I'm going to say what needs to be said. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. And it's been nice. Don't follow me, whatever. But writing is my therapy. Writing is free. Talking is free. And I'm going to say how I feel about what I see going on in my community and in this world.
Jasmine Cannick, thank you so much for coming in today. And thank you for saying what you say.
Thank you. Thank you, Dominique.
Wealth Building Wednesday is next. And we're taking your phone calls, of course, all morning long. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. President Trump is open to TikTok being sold to Elon Musk or Larry Ellison, a chairman at the tech company Oracle. Trump has signed an executive order pushing off the ban for 75 days, but ByteDance must sell its share of the app to operate legally in the U.S. President Trump is revoking John Bolton's Secret Service protection, questioning the need for lifelong security. Bolton received protection in 2021 due to an Iranian threat. Bolton was Trump's national security advisor, but was fired in 2019.